it's a rainy day. So we started a project of my son's Craftsman Toolbox. For you, some of you that don't follow the channel, I'm 61 years old. This was my box when I was his age, 22, he's 24, so around that time, okay? So this is an actual old box. I've already removed the lock, and the Craftsman, it's got some kind of solvent through the years that spilled on here and ruined the paint. But I've already ran a wire wheel in here, took out some rust. I showed you in a YouTube short on how to remove the drawers, okay? You just take an old hacksaw blade, you round it off like I did here, make it smoother, take some of the hacksaw part off, and then to take the drawers out, you're gonna slide it in between here and the drawer. There's a, right here, look right here. See right there? You're gonna slide this so it goes between the drawer and that, like that, and then you pull the drawers out. All right, now I showed you in another YouTube short, you can look at my shorts and find it, how to remove the sliders, which you're just gonna go the opposite way. You're gonna slide in here till you get, there's the same deal like right there as there is here. And you're gonna slide this in where it goes in between that, it doesn't catch, and you pull the sliders out. All right, there's other YouTube videos out there that are just about that, but I did it in shorts, it's so easy, all right? So, I've used a wire wheel inside the box. I gotta clean it out some more with some more sanding. Then I'm gonna use a rust converter. I don't know what brand, but I'll find it. I'll spray it on there before I put any paint in the box. But we're going for a color change. You know, all my boxes are red. There's the steampunk cart there. But on here, the Craftsman box is used like a real dark group. It's a charcoal, right? So I'm gonna do something different for him. So what I'm gonna use here is I'm gonna use like a Ford gray that they use on the box. All right, so this will be color of the box. I don't know how it shows up on the video, but there you go. It's not white, it's not off-white. This is actually like a pale gray. I think they use this color on the Mark 1s. All right, it's called Appalachian Gray, I think it is. Anyway, that's what I'm gonna use on the box. And I'm gonna spray can it. I found something in Behr, we'll try that out. Behr Paint, their new spray line. And we'll spray it, see how it comes out, get the box. I'm gonna work on the box first before we built him his cart for the box and stuff. So we'll get the box all done and then we'll go from there. So I'll show you how to rebuild an old box. Everything's simple. We pop the lock, all there is a C-clip. I showed you how to get the drawers out. I showed you now how to get the sliders out. Hey, we'll go to the next stage where I put some converter in there. Okay, I'm gonna talk to you guys frank, bold, whatever you wanna call it. Like my dad used to talk to me, okay? If you're gonna do a project, really don't do it, let's use a nice word, half-baked. He used to use another word like half, hee-haw, okay? You understand what that means. So, what I've done, you saw already, I pulled the drawers out. I've seen a lot of videos of guys repainting and doing their boxes, and they leave the tracks still in them, all right? The guides for the shelves or drawers. When you take them out, it's really important because each one of them wears differently. I took them out in the order I took them out. I marked the ones that are up top in the center, and I laid them all out. And when I go to put them back in, I will clean each one separately at a time, and I'm not sure if I'll use a graphite or a silicone type lubricant when I put them back in. That's one thing. So remember, they're all in order there. So next thing I did, to strip it, and some guys sand them with a sander and stuff, that takes too long. It's, you know, I don't want to bore you with stuff. 4.5-inch grinder, a wire cup wheel. It strips it like magic. I've got maybe 15, 20 minutes in this. All I got left is that. The bottom's already done. Now, I did find a little rust in this box, but it was just surface rust. If you ever wonder how the rust gets in it, when you get these handles here in this design, they were open here. They went all the way through. They were like vents. You could see the daylight through there, see? So, I wire wheeled the inside where this rust was. That's where you see it looks a little funny. After it was all cleaned, I cleaned it out with acetone afterwards, a degreaser, then acetone. Then I love this product. It's Rust-Oleum's rust reformer. Basically, it instantly converts rust to a protected paintable surface. So I spray that on. That's going to sit. I've got a couple little rusty spots underneath. They're just surface rust. Matter of fact, hold on, I'll show you. So you can see the outline where the rust was. I went over it really well. It's just got little pitting in it. There's nothing deep or anything. I went over it really well with the wire wheel. What I'll do now is I'll clean it with acetone, and that flashes off really quick. Then I'll shoot the can of the rust stuff, Rust-Oleum, and then I'll let it sit overnight. Okay, so I'm gonna do this last before I go back into the house, and I'll finish stripping that off. When you're gonna strip them, you use a wire wheel. They strip so fast. If you got something, I don't care if it's an old file cabinet or something that was thin metal, tin, or whatever, try that rather than trying with sandpaper. I've got a little bit of sandpaper here, and all it was where I had some rust where I wanted to make sure I went in real tight into those spots. That's all. So I'm gonna finish wire wheeling that, then I'll spray that, and I'll call it quits for today. That's the progress on this box. All we have left on paint is to take this little area off. And I know someone didn't believe me that how well that works, to wire wheel in that. I also like it because I put it in a short, how well it cleans in the seams, all right? And also on the hinge, how well it cleans into the hinge. It gets it all cleaned out. But I'm gonna show you, make sure I'm wearing safety glasses, all right? Don't try this, what I'm about to show you, but I wanna show you how fast it works. We're gonna use a one-handed method. Let me see if I can hold this phone without my thumb going in there. All right, let's see if we can do this one-handed. Just a couple of spots to show you how fast. See, I'm doing that one-handed with no pressure, just I'm lightly flying around with it. And you see how fast it took it off? These things were not powder coated back in the day. They actually had a very, very light coat of paint on them, where you might find a little bit more fuss getting off. And I just say, because you have to work it maybe twice as hard as you got to work this back and the sides, and it's just the very top. It seems like on the very, very, very top of the boxes, they may have put 2 coats of paint. But on the rest of the box, definitely anything close to the inside of the box on these edges has got 1 coat. So it whips right off. Anyway, so we're gonna clean this all off. I've got to flip it over, spray the rust inhibitor on the bottom like I said, let it sit. Tomorrow I'll go to stage 2, which I will be painting the inside. Then I'll let the inside, well, I'll take that back. I'll be priming the whole box, letting it sit. And then the next day, spraying it, all right? So anyway, see you on round 2. Hey, as a safety precaution, I need to tell you this. If you're spraying inside like I am in a shop, and it's cold outside, so I've got a vent backdrafting into my paint booth from here at the big shop part, mechanical side. And I'm spraying some spray can, different type of primer and the paint. But you need to be aware of something. If you don't wear a mask when doing this, when you're inside especially, some of the stuff in this stuff will jack you up. You'll feel lightheaded and all, and it's because it has all types of chemicals, xylene in it, benzene in it. It's a lot of bad shizzle. Let's just say shizzle in these cans in your enclosed-in environment, especially if you have a son or kid or helping you do this project outside, well ventilated. If it's too cold, buy a respirator, put a respirator on, okay? The old days, guys used to use a bandana around them, and they were spraying lacquer, and the lacquer fume would get you high and stuff like that, even with the bandana. Now the newer paints and time coatings have gotten better, but they've gotten more dangerous, all right? So we got a respirator. We're going to do this. Let me turn this around so you can see something. You notice it's kind of greenish gray. That's because, you know, this is bare steel, right? And what I'm using on it is called a self-etching primer. This one's made by Krylon. Everything I'm doing on this box, I'm doing it with products you can buy at Walmart or a big box store, okay? And then the color, this is from Home Depot, their new line of Bare Premium. This stuff goes on really well, but if it's cold in your shop, like 50 degrees or whatever, bring the temperature up to at least 60, because this stuff will run on you very easy. It's thin, goes on very well, very smooth when it dries. I mean, here's a test piece of metal or whatever. It goes on very smooth and nice, but it'll fall to the ground on you. So you got to do light coats, allow it 5, 10, 15 minutes, depending on the temperature, to flash, get a little sticky, and then shoot the next coat. Don't try to pile drive it on. Now, before you spray your primer on, remember, no, I'll just tell you this. I went over the whole thing with the Scotch-Brite pad. All right, and some of you guys don't know what a Scotch-Brite pad is. It's these pads, these orange ones, these reddish ones. These reddish maroon ones, these are equivalent to about 320 sandpaper. All right, so I went over all the cracks everywhere. You can see the light, see that? You can see the pattern on there. I went over it. Then I took acetone on a rag, cleaned it all, tossed that rag, put another rag with a little acetone, went over the whole thing into cracks. Acetone flashes very fast. All right, so that's clean. And then that's when we put this etching primer, right? So etching is made for bare metal. It bonds into it and grabs it. And see, it's flashing here. You see how it's flat? And then here you got like a darker. That's still wet and it's flashing. And it's all done with light coats. Right, so after that's done, we'll let it sit a while. I may even wait till tomorrow morning and then start putting color in it. I put color in the inside of the box, one coat. It's still a little tacky, so I'll let it do its thing, then I'll dust it with another coat. I'm not so much concerned inside, but I will. I'll get all this reddish. And reason why you still see the red, I painted it with the box upside down because I painted underneath the box. Let it dry. Now the box is up off the ground so I can paint and get around these edges. All right, so that's our progress so far. So we'll finish priming. Next thing you do, I'll show you after we spray bomb it, okay? And then if it has any dirt in it after I spray bomb it, I'll lightly color sand it, knock any nibs or dust particles off, and shoot it with another coat. But I'm gonna allow time to dry between these coats. That's where people get in trouble by pushing stuff, making it go too fast. You know, you get in a hurry, I wanna get it done, I wanna get it done. And then, you know, it looks good from 50 feet away. You wanna make it look nice up front, all right? So hang with me. All right, we're back after a couple of days. I shot this Sunday morning real quick. If you're gonna use this bare paint, this is from Home Depot. I like the way it went on. This was gloss. It's shiny, but it's between a satin and a real gloss, so I like it. It kind of matches the finishes of Come On Toolboxes. And if you're gonna spray this, you gotta be careful because it depends on the temperature of your shop. You gotta wear a respirator. I tell guys that because it has a bunch of badass chemicals in it. But you put the first coat on and you kind of put like a light coat on. Let it tack up after 15 minutes. Then you put a medium coat on all over again. Wait again for 15 minutes. Then you can put a good coat on it. And if you try to shoot it and do real quick and heavier, like a lot of guys do, this stuff will run, okay? It has to flash. Flash means it has to evaporate the solvents off and let the paint become tacky. Just like if you're spraying a car or anything else. Yeah. Anyway, if you see like a reddish tint coming off stuff, that's because of reflection from all the red boxes and everything that's red behind it. So, we're done with the paint. I may go over the top of this with 800, just this top here, and spray one more coat. But I really don't think it needs it. I mean, it's a toolbox, right? But it came out real nice. So, next thing we're doing now is I'm putting back the sliders, all right? But what I did was, to make them slide easier, I'm doing this one-handed, is I cleaned them with a brake parts cleaner because they have old residue of like the factory grease or whatever. And the brake cleaner cleans it right off real well. Sure, carburetor cleaner would work too, but I like brake cleaner because it evaporates very fast. And I use a rag, I go into tracks. Now after they're clean, what I'm using to lubricate the tracks again, I'm using, a Q-tip, and I'm using white lithium grease. And I'm just putting a little bit on the inside of these tracks, on both sides, under and over. Okay, and then I slide them in, that's good there, and then I'll lubricate, after I clean the drawers out, I'll lubricate those too and put them in. Now remember something, I told you this. When you took them out, you keep them all in the order. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. So putting them back in the same order they came out, so each one slides like it originally did. And the tops are in already. Everything slides nice. Okay, so I don't like using silicones. Now, if this box is all painted, done, and there's never going to be paint around it, or if it was already a newer box, I might use a spray silicone on it. But if you spray silicone, I got to touch up something or spray around here, something might get in the air, and then I just invited a nightmare to try to paint. Okay, so if something's already painted, and you already own a box, that's fine. Use the silicone and spray, and just, there's all kinds of lubricants out there. For me, the white lithium seems to work real well. So I'm gonna go back to cleaning these tracks, put them in, and then I'll clean the drawers, we'll put them in, I'll show you the box when it's done there. Then probably gonna be ordering a brand new lock because I have no idea where the key is after 20 something years. And then this year, I'm gonna have something custom made there. I'm still wondering about what I'm gonna do in the inside of the box. I may not do anything, and I may end up doing it on the cart that we're building and do some custom lettering and stuff like that. So just hang around the process. This part is almost done, and I'll show you when it's all done. Well, we're redoing the drawers because here's the deal. Remember, these are mechanics boxes in the first place, right? So I used to touch them with greasy hands and stuff like that. So they got wore around where your hands grab, like these lips were a little worn off, and then where your fingers hit underneath. So I'm using a Behr paint again, but you can go match it yourself better. I use this color, it's called metallic, it's soft iron. I'm using this because I'm building a whole industrial theme when I build a cart. So you can find something in Rust-Oleum or Krylon that matches better. You just take the box, pull out one of the drawers like I showed you in my other videos, and you can match it better, all right? Because it's not black, it's basically a charcoal, right? So I'm painting it more of an iron, it's got some metallics in it to match a different theme that I'm doing. But these fronts, you see how they get worn there, and you got to make sure and clean them really well of any grease. So use a real good like household cleaner. And something else I found, after you clean that off, you don't have to do a lot of sanding, because actually if you use brake cleaner and a Scotch-Brite, they put such a thin coat of paint on these originally that it just basically almost wipes it right off. So that's what I'll do. I'll spray on there and just run that Scotch-Brite just on the front. Got to clean, then I got a really clean surface to work on. That's an FYI. And then the only thing I'm doing is I'm taping off that there. I'll spray it, slide them in after they dry, and it dries pretty quick, within an hour or so, and then put it back on. Now, since I'm going with this iron, it covers this very quickly. All right. I'll show you when all the drawers are in there. I called a locksmith buddy of mine. Instead of buying a new lock, he said with the code on it, he'll make me a key. So it probably cost me a few bucks to get the key made, but hey, I got the original stuff, right? And then this year, I'm gonna measure out for a custom deal. And I gotta find out who's open. I mean, it's really, really cold out, so that'll be later in the week. I might just finish the box and just do that last. Well, the drawers are painted and reinstalled. Everything slides real nice. Now remember, this is an old slider system, okay? This is not like the newer boxes, which people don't understand. These got better sliders in them, see? We got like nice cabinets. So as times went on, boxes got better. These are Harbor Freight boxes, and they're very nice. But this box is what's called a restore, and it's for my son. So, you know, he doesn't work as a mechanic or anything. He's a stump grinding business. So this box will last him. Plus, he'll always be here. All these boxes or all these tools will be his anyway when I pass away. So anyway, this is basically a sentimental restore project, and hopefully you got something like this you could do with your son. All that's left now is have the lock done. I'm gonna have a custom nameplate made for that. I gotta find an engraving shop this week, and then I gotta cut all the mats to go in here, which that'll be the next process. Hey, it's Saturday, February, I think, 26th. I'm gonna put this video up this evening, and in 1 week from now, let's say Sunday morning, you'll know, which will be March 5th. I'm giving away all the extra sockets that were in whatever little odds and ends there might be I had left over in there. You know, there might be spark plug sockets and stuff like that. A lot of them are cheaper. Before there was China, there was Japan, and there are some Craftsman mixed in there and some other US brands that you would get like from Napa and stuff like that mixed in. And I'll show it to you here in a second, but let me tell you who it's available to. To win, I choose it off the computer, off of a comment. So in the comment section, if you want to enter it, make a comment and reference why or who you want to give these extra sockets to. All right. I personally want you, even if you have tools, enter it anyway, because if you know a young man or a young woman or kid, or, you know, I don't care if it's girl or boy or whatever, and you want to get them into wrenching, all right, give them these and start. And all I ask is, in the end, if you win, give them somebody, take a picture of you with them and email it to me, and I'll put it up in one of the videos that you were the winner. Okay, so in order to win, you got to make a like to this video, you got to be a subscriber to the channel, and you got to make a comment, on this video and if you can, make it a little longer, like who you want to give it to, all right, or why. I've already got people jumping on it from the YouTube short that I said I was going to make this video, and people are jumping on, hey, I want it. You know what? Explain to me what? Or are you a new guy trying to get into mechanics? Or are you going to work at some place, you know, a lube place or something, and you got nothing at all? Or you're in high school or junior high or whatever, and you want to start working on lawnmowers and stuff? Hey, I'm also going to do something different on our channel like I did when I first started the channel. Every month or every 2 weeks, I'm not sure, I'm going to start giving away tools again, all right? And if you've got tools, that's okay. If you've got some of these tools that I give away and you win, I don't care how many times you win. I normally used to limit it to where if you won last week, you couldn't win this week. I don't care. You know why? I want you, if you win and you won, you say you won last week. If you win again, the computer picks you, it picks you. But give it away to someone else that you think wants it or needs it, all right, to make a living. All right, so let me turn this around and I'll show you what I'm giving away. This is what I'm giving away. It's basically a shoebox thing of sockets, all right? This one, let's see what brand this is. I got to squint my eyeballs to see it. Well, this is a Craftsman Deep, all right? What is this? This is Chrome, Valenium. Shoot, I can't even read this. I can't read it. I don't have glasses. It's probably some cheap half-inch drive. So there's quarter-inch drive, 3/8 drive, half-inch drives in here. I already did that one. What is this one here? think that it says Fleet, so that might be a Napa. So there's all kinds of stuff in here. There are some 10 millimeters. There's a bunch of different 1/4-inch drives in here. So, hey, somebody might be able to start something with this, all right? But there's something else I'm giving away, all right? In a short the other day, I took one of the old wrenches that were all rusted up, right? I made that out of it, all right? I made a couple of shorts on how I took a wrench and turned it into a knife. I'll include it in that giveaway, all right? So you got a little piece of me with you. And it's not really that sharp, so it's your job to tune it up and make it whatever you want. If you want to grind it thinner and make it knife, you can do that, but it's just a little fun project that if you've got an old beat up wrench, you can look at my short, how I did it, or look up other stuff. This would be a great little project for a young man or girl with you to make, to learn how to use a grinder, learn how to use a hand file, stuff like that. Don't be afraid to try stuff and just make something in your basement, garage, your shed, whatever it is. With all that being said, God bless you. Learn the wrench, learn about tools, and I'm going to start giving away tools. I'm going to go to Harbor Freight and all and start buying. Every time I go there, I live there anyway. I'll buy some extra. Might be extensions, might be a different socket or whatever. To be smaller stuff, I'm giving it away for you different guys to start building your boxes and start getting back into stuff, all right? If you got a bicycle, you need tools to work on your bicycle, all right? So I'm your favorite bad uncle, all right? God bless you. Thanks for hanging around. I'm sorry if I bored you, but this video was very special to me. It was the box I built for my son. I even had the engraving made for it with his name and the year I did it. And his box is not full, but it's getting there. These are all the spare duplicates or whatever I had. I'll go through and he'll start getting more and more stuff. And he's excited. You know, he's got my regular stuff, but he's excited about this. And that made my day. All right, so see you in the next one. And do me a favor. If you're not interested in these tools and stuff like that, that's okay. Share the video. Remember, you got to make a like, a subscribe, and make a comment of why you want those extra tools or who you're going to give them to. That's all you got to say. I'm going to give them to my niece, my neighbor, my kid, whatever, or some kid in high school or junior high. See you in the next one.